Every year, Matric learners sit down for paper 1, and every year they lose marks they should never have lost in section C. Not because the questions are hard, but because they don't know exactly what to look for, and they don't even know which sections these questions are in. Today I'm fixing both of those problems. By the end of this video, you will know how to read a cartoon, how to analyze an advertisement, and how to structure answers that pick up every single mark the examiner is offering. Not most of them, every single one. I am Professor Reason, and this is your Paper 1 Visual Literacy Masterclass. Let's get your orientation right, because this is where most learners carry the wrong mental map of Paper 1. Paper 1 is called Language in Context. It is 80 marks, 2 hours, and 3 sections. Section A is Compression, 30 marks. Section B is Summary, 10 marks. Section C is Language Structures and Conventions, 40 marks. Visual literacy questions live in Section C as question 3 and 4. Question 3 is the advertisement, 10 marks. Question 4 is the cartoon, 10 marks. But here is what most learners miss completely. A visual text also appears in Section A as text B, and it carries approximately 6 marks of comprehension questions. Add it up, that is up to 26 marks in a single paper where your visual literacy skills are being tested. This is not a minor section, this is a major skill. One important note before we go deeper. Section A text B can include many different visual text types: photographs, graphs, tables, infographics, and posters. Each of those will get its own dedicated video on this channel. In this lesson, we are focused specifically on 2 question types in Section C, cartoons in question 4 and advertisements in question 3. 16 marks in total. Let's go to them. A cartoon in your exam is usually a single panel, one image with characters, dialogue, and a message. Sometimes it's 2 panels. Either way, the examiner is testing one thing above all others. Can you read beyond the surface? Can you see what the cartoonist is actually saying about the world? Here's the key distinction that separates a 1-mark answer from a 3-mark answer. Describing is not interpreting. Saying, the man in the cartoon looks angry, describes. Saying, the cartoonist uses the character's angry expression to show how frustration at government inaction, interprets. Interpretation earns marks. Before you can interpret a cartoon, you need to know what to look for. There are 8 elements the examiner tests, and each one can appear as a standalone question. You cannot afford to know 6 of them. You need all 8. Element number 1, the speech bubble. The speech bubble shows what a character is saying out loud. Don't just note what they say. Analyze how they say it. Does the word choice reveal the character's attitude, their level of education, their emotional state? Every word inside a speech bubble is evidence. Use it as evidence. Element number 2, the thought bubble. This is different from the speech bubble, and examiners test this distinction directly. The thought bubble shows what a character is privately thinking but not saying out loud. It is usually shaped like a cloud to distinguish it from a speech bubble. Here is why this matters. When a cartoon shows a gap between what a character says in their speech bubble and what they think in their thought bubble, that gap is the satirical point. That gap is what the cartoonist wants you to notice and explain. That gap is the mark. Element number 3, body language and facial expression. This show mood and tone made visible. Ask yourself, How does this character look? Surprised, angry, defeated, confident? Cartoonists draw every line deliberately. A slumped shoulder, a raised eyebrow, a clenched fist. Each one communicates something specific about what the character is feeling and what the cartoonist wants you to understand about the situation. Element number 4, the setting. The setting is where the cartoon takes place. What does the background reveal about the context of the cartoonist's message? Is this a parliament, a school, a hospital, a township street? The setting is not decoration. It is a meaning maker. It gives the cartoonist message a specific social or political context. Element number 5, foreground and background. Cartoonists make deliberate choices about what to place in the foreground prominently and what to place in the background. The foreground usually holds the most important element. The background provides context or creates ironic contrast. Ask, why is this element prominent? What is the relationship between what is in front and what is behind? That relationship is often the cartoonist's whole argument. Element number 6, the caption. A caption is any text written outside the speech or thought bubble, usually below or above the image. This is often where the cartoonist's irony lives. The caption can contradict the image, reinforce it, or add a layer of meaning that the image alone cannot carry. When a caption says one thing and the image shows the opposite, that is irony. Name it. Explain it. Element number 7, the symbol. A symbol is an image or object that represents something beyond itself. A broken chain represents freedom. A scale represents justice. A crumbling building represents failure or neglect. Symbols operate on 2 levels. The literal level, that is what you see, and the symbolic level, that is what it means. Your answer must address both levels. Name the symbol, then explain what it represents in the context of the cartoon's message. Element number 8, the artist's message and tone. This is the big one. The artist's message is the cartoonist's overall point. That is what they are criticizing, celebrating, or warning about. The tone is how they deliver it. Is it humorous, satirical, somber, angry, and ironic? Every other element, we mean the speech bubble, the symbol, the body language, the setting, exists to communicate this message. When you have identified the message and tone accurately, you have answered the deepest question the examiner can ask. Here's the answer structure that works for almost every cartoon question in the NSC exam. The DBE calls it PQE, point, quotation, explanation. Some teachers call it PEL, same structure, same logic, but no PQE because that is the official NSC language. Point, make your claim about what the cartoon shows or what the cartoonist is communicating. Quotation, give your evidence, quote the dialogue directly, describe the body language, name the symbol, or reference the setting. Explanation, connect your evidence back to the artist's message. 3 steps, every answer. Let me show you what a full marks PQE answer looks like in practice. Here's the question. What is the cartoonist's message in this cartoon? Your point? The cartoonist suggests that politicians make empty promises. Your quotation? In the cartoon, the politician's speech bubbles reads, "Change is coming," while his thought bubble reveals him privately counting money, and behind him in the background, broken roads and empty shelves remain untouched. Your explanation? The contrast between the speech bubble and the thought bubble exposes the gap between the politician's public words and his private intentions, which is the cartoonist's satirical message about political dishonesty. That answer earns full marks. Notice what we are doing. We are not describing what we see. We are interpreting it. That is the difference between 1 mark and 3. An advertisement is a text designed to persuade. The examiner wants to know if you can break down exactly how that persuasion works. Think of it this way. Every single element in an advertisement, we talk about the color, the font, the image, the slogan, was chosen deliberately to make you feel something or do something. Nothing is there by accident. Your job is not to admire the advertisement. Your job is to explain the mechanics of how it works and to prove that every choice was intentional. Just like cartoons, advertisements have 8 specific elements that the examiner tests. The same rule applies. Each one can be tested as a standalone question. No all 8, not 6. Element number 1, the slogan or tagline. This is the memorable phrase that carries the advertisement's core promise. When you analyze a slogan, ask these 3 questions. First, what does it promise or offer? Second, what emotion or desire does it target in the reader? Third, what language technique does it use or to achieve that? Alliteration, rhyme, a rhetorical question, and a command? The technique is what the examiner asks about. The effect on the target audience is your answer. Element number 2, the target audience. The target audience is the second specific group of people that the advertisement is designed to reach and persuade. When the examiner asks who the target audience is, they want more than just women or young people. They want to know how you can tell from the evidence in the advertisement. Look at the language level, the imagery, the setting, and the product type. The target audience is proven, not guessed. Element number 3, visual elements. Visual elements are everything you can see in the advertisement. The images chosen, the people in them, the objects, the setting of the image. Ask yourself this: what feeling does this image create? And why was this specific image chosen over every other possible image? A smiling family suggests belonging and warmth. A gleaming luxury car suggests aspiration. A natural landscape suggests health or environmental responsibility. Name the image, name the feeling, and explain why the advertiser wanted that feeling in the reader. Element number 4, the color. Color is never random in advertisement. Every color choice is a psychological decision that the advertiser made deliberately. Gold communicates luxury and prestige. Green suggests health, nature, or environmental values. Red creates agency, passion, or a sense of danger. Blue builds trust and reliability. White signals purity and simplicity. When you are asked about color, name the color, state what psychological association it carries, and explain why that association serves the advertisement's purpose and target audience. Element number 5, the layout. Layout is how all the elements of the advertisement are arranged on the page. The most important elements are positioned to be seen first: top center, largest size, and highest contrast. Ask yourself this: what does the viewer's eye land on first? Why did the advertiser want that to be the first impression? Layout is an argument about priority. Follow that argument. Element number 6, typography, which means font choice. This is an element many learners overlook entirely, and that is a costly mistake because examiners test it differently. Bold, uppercase fonts communicate authority and agency. They demand your attention. Cursive or handwritten fonts signal warmth, intimacy, and personal connection. They want you to feel like this was written just for you. Large font size signal importance. Small print at the bottom is where legal disclaimers hide, which itself tells you something about what the advertiser does not want you to think too hard about. When you analyze typography, ask yourself, what does this font communicate? And whom was it designed to persuade or reassure? Element number 7, persuasive techniques. These are the specific tools the advertiser uses to convince you. You need to know them by name. Emotional appeal, also called pathos. Logic and statistics, also called logos. Celebrity or authority endorsement, also called ethos. Then the language techniques. Repetition, alliteration, rhetorical questions, hyperbole, and imperatives. That is the commands. When a question asks you to identify a persuasive technique, name it by its correct term, quote the evidence from the advertisement, and explain its effect on the specific target audience. Element number 8, the product name and logo. How is the brand identified in this advertisement? Is the logo large and dominant, or small and understated? What do the font, color, and shape of the logo communicate about what this brand wants you to feel about? A minimalist white logo on black communicates exclusivity and premium quality. A bright red logo in rounded letters communicates friendliness and energy. Read the logo as text. It carries a message about the brand's identity, and that message was designed. Good news, PQE still works for the advertisements. But for advertisements, examiners also ask technique-based questions in a specific 3-step structure. Name the technique, quote the evidence, and explain the effect. Step number 1, name the technique. Give it its correct term. Step number 2, quote the evidence. Pull the exact words from the slogan, the body copy, or the product name. Step number 3, explain the effect. Tell the examiner what this technique does to the target audience and why the advertiser used it. Here's a fully worked answer for a technique question. The question says, which persuasive technique is used in the slogan? Explain how it works. Step number 1, name the technique. The advertisement uses a rhetorical question. Step number 2, quote the evidence. The slogan asks, isn't your family worth it? Step number 3, explain the effect. This question makes the reader feel personally responsible for their family's well-being, which creates emotional pressure to buy the product and associate it with caring for loved ones. Name it, quote it, explain the effect. That is full marks on a technique question every time. One final distinction that examiners test directly, and that learners frequently confuse. Visual elements are everything you see. Images, color, layout, and font. Verbal elements are everything you read. The slogan, the body copy, the product name, and the legal disclaimer. If the question specifies visual elements, do not discuss the slogan. If it specifies verbal elements, do not discuss the color scheme. Stay in your lane. This distinction costs marks when it is ignored. Let's talk strategy. Because knowing the content is one thing, using your time well in the exam is another. The category is section C total. The detail, we have 40 marks. Question 3, advertisement, 10 marks. Question 4, cartoon, 10 marks. Question 5, 20 marks. The category of visual literacy marks, up to 26 marks across paper 1. Question 1, text B, 6 marks. Plus question 3, 10 marks. Plus question 4, 10 marks. Time for question 3 and 4, that is 20 to 24 minutes total. Roughly 10 to 12 minutes per question. Use 1 mark equals 1 minute as your guide. 1 mark question, it's one clear sentence. Name the technique or make one precise observation. 2 mark questions, 2 distinct points or 1 point plus quotation in 2 sentences. 3 mark question, full PQE, 3 separate sentences, each one earning mark. Match your answer length to the mark allocation. A 3 mark question that gets a 1 sentence answer will score 1 mark. A 1 mark question that gets a paragraph answer wastes your time and earns no extra marks. Discipline with length is discipline with time. Here's the question most learners never think to ask. Why was this particular cartoon or advertisement chosen for the exam? The answer is always a theme. The examiner selects visual text that connects to a broader topic. That could be either corruption, the environment, technology, health, or inequality. That theme is the lens through which every element should be interpreted. If the cartoon is satirical, political dishonesty, every element you analyze should connect back to that satirical intent. If the advertisement is selling an aspirational lifestyle, every element connects back to the aspiration it is selling. Let the theme focus your attention, interpretation. And remember, Section C visual literacy questions also test your knowledge of language structures and conventions. If a question asks you to identify a technique, explain grammar, or discuss vocabulary within the visual text that is on the table, the question in question 3 and question 4 do more than one job at a time. Let's bring it all together. For cartoons, you are looking for 8 elements. 1 speech bubble, what is said and how it is said. Number 2, thought bubble, what is thought privately and the gap between thought and speech. Number 3, body language and facial expression, mood made visible. Number 4, setting, the context of the message. Number 5, foreground and background, what is prominent and why. Number 6, caption, the added layer of meaning. Number 7, symbol, what the image represents beyond itself. Number 8, artist's message and tone, the overall point. Use PQE to structure every answer. For advertisements, 1 slogan, the technique and its effect. Number 2, target audience, who and the evidence that proves it. Number 3, visual elements, the image and the emotion it creates. Number 4, color, the psychological choice. Number 5, the layout, what the eye sees first and why. Number 6, typography, what the font communicates. Number 7, persuasive techniques, name it, quote it, and explain the effect. Number 8, product name and logo, how the brand identifies itself. Manage your time. Question 3 and question 4 each deserve 10 to 12 minutes. Do not rush and do not skip the explanation step. That is where your 3rd mark lives. If this lesson helped you, smash that subscribe button because we are building every single English first additional language skill you need to pass paper 1. 1 video at a time. Drop a comment with the question type you still find difficult and we'll make it our next video. The next video covers the comprehension question using the PQE method. The link is in the description. See you in the next one.